Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well. So this is our lesson number 53 and also the pivot table part number 2. In the pivot table part number 1, we discussed about the introduction for the pivot tables. So in this lesson, I'm going to start on creating pivot tables. So today we are going to create our first pivot table. So we have our data here, and in the lesson number 52, that is the pivot table part 1, we discuss about the importance about having complete data. So let's think about so we have the completed data here, and also we inserted a table to that, and you know now why having a table is important to create a pivot table. And now we are ready to create the pivot table. Right, how to go about it? So just select inside the table and go to insert option. Under the insert you can see pivot table, and also under the design you can see summarize with pivot table option. So both options are available to you. So I will select insert menu. So under the insert you can see pivot table. Just click on it, and then I see the create pivot table window. So under the create pivot table window, first of all choose the data that you want to analyze. So that is the first step. We have to select the data, select a table or range, right? And also use an external data source. That means we can connect to an external data source such as Access database or a different type of database, SQL, right? But here, so we are talking about the first one. Select a table or range. So now you can see by default the table already selected. So that is another beautiful thing of using tables to create pivot table, right? So automatically selecting the table. We do not need to specify the range. It's automatically taking the table. That is a very good advantage. And then choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed, right? Whether it is a new worksheet or an existing worksheet. Based on your requirement, you can select the best option for you. So in order to do this, I will select existing worksheet. So that means my pivot table sheet, this one, and then specify the starting point. So I will select G2 cell as the location, okay? And choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables. So in this situation, I'm not going to analyze multiple tables. I will cover that in a different lesson. Alright. So because we are here just creating our first pivot table, which is a simple one, in order to understand this better. Now you are done with the major criteria, and then select OK. So once you select OK, we can see the pivot table area and also the pivot table fields already appeared. Alright, so pivot table fields and the pivot table area. This is where we are going to build our report, this area. And these are the table fields, date, buyer, type, amount. You can see them in the table. And this section, the filter section appear at the top of the pivot table area. And then the values are going to be the amounts, our numbers, and row area and the column area. So now we are going to play with this data in order to understand this better. Now let me add the type to the filter. you just need to drag and drop, and also there is an option just to select. But when you select that, it is not going to the place that you want to have it, because it's going to the default place. The default is the rows, right? The default is the rows, but you want that to have under the filters. So then what you need to do, drag and drop. You just need to drag and drop into the filter area like that way, right? So then if you want to remove already added field, you just need to drag and remove outside from the filters or columns or rows or values like this, right? So let me add again, right, like that way. Now I have the filter under the filter. Then you can see the other sections already gone, but don't worry about it. You do not need to get panic about it. Why? We can select from here and drag and drop to the related place using these pivot table fields. Now let's say the amount, but now you can see when you click on amount, basically it's automatically going to the value field. Pivot table is identifying that and directly is assigned to the value field, so you no need to drag and drop always. And then let's take buyer into the rows. Now we have a simple analysis. Our buyers are Dad, Kelly, Mom, and the amount they spent, you can see Dad spent 20, Kelly 270, Mom 545, altogether 834. This is a simple pivot table report, right? Now let's say now you want to analyze. Okay, Dad spent $20. Then you need to know what are the type of expenses under this $20. So then we have the type here, and also the type is at the filter. Now you do not want to have a filter, but you want to have the breakdown with the buyer. So then the simple way is drag and drop the filter, that is the type, into the columns. Now you can see once you do that, filter has been removed and those expense types now added to the columns. Now you can see here. So that $20 is totally for the expense type sports. Mom, it's about food and also fuel. And Kelly, she's a student, so she bought some books and also some series and watching a movie tickets. So like that, now you have that visibility of who are the buyers and what is the breakdown of the expenses. So like that way, my friends, we can use this pivot tables to analyze the data. Alright, so now let me show you how we can use the filter option. Let me add the type again back to the filter. So I can drag the type from columns and drop to the filters like that, right? And then I want to get the date to the columns, right? So then I have the months, the January, February, with this the plus icon. So that means I can click there, then I will see the related dates. And now I am going to use filter to filter by expense type in order to analyze the information. Let me select food and click OK. Now you can see food has been bought by Mom, and it is in January, and also some in February, right? So likewise, we can filter the information and analyze the information in that way. Alright, so that is how, dear colleagues, we can build up a simple pivot table. Before we are going to the complex steps, we need to understand the simple steps, which is the foundation of the pivot table. Now let's say you don't want to see the pivot table fields, then under the analyze, you just need to select, unselect the field list, then it will go. If you don't want to see these buttons, then you just need to unselect. And also if you don't want to see these column labels, row labels, just unselect these field headers. So now data is coming under more organized way, right? And then what you can do is you can rename this, right? Even you can delete this, and there you can put a name like expenses analysis, right? It is possible. So like that way you can have a meaningful way, you can arrange more meaningful way the information, right? So okay my friends, so this is how you can start creating a pivot table. These are the basics that you need to understand. Let me repeat again. So this is our field area, and this is the amount area, and this is the column area, this is the row area. Alright, so thank you very much for watching this part 2 of pivot table. So when we move on, I will touch slowly, step by step, with more functionalities, and also arranging the analysis, including charts in more meaningful way. Alright, so then more to come my friends. Keep in touch with my page. Thank you very much for watching this. God bless you all.